What's up, everybody? Today I'm ranking every Shinedown album from worst to best. Now, before I get started, I want to make one thing very clear. I love Shinedown. There's not a single album on this list that I don't love. In fact, the album coming in at number 8 is still like a good 7 out of 10 for me. That's how strong I think their catalog is. So if your favorite album ends up at lower than you expected, just know I still think it's a great album. Now, coming in at number 8 is Us and Them. My top 3 songs here are Begin Again, Heroes, and Save Me. And even though this is my lowest ranked Shinedown album, it still contains one of my all-time favorite Shinedown songs, which is Save Me. That's proof that being last on this list doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't connect with me as consistently as the albums I have above it. Which brings us to Threat to Survival. Now, my top 3 songs here are Asking For It, Cut the Cord, and Misfits. Now, this album has some great tracks, but it feels more like a collection of songs than a complete album experience for me. Misfits is one of those songs I think deserves a lot more attention than it gets, though. At number 6 is Planet Zero. Now, my top 3 songs here are Dead Don't Die, Clueless and Dramatic, and The Saints of Violence and Innuendo. I know, some fans would probably rank this lower on the list, but I've enjoyed this album. The Saints of Violence and Innuendo, I think, is one of my favorite songs from the modern era of Shinedown. Now, next up is number 5, which is Amaryllis. And my top 3 songs are Adrenaline, My Name Wearing Me Out, and Enemies. Now, this album, I think, is packed with a lot of energy and huge choruses. In fact, Enemies is one of the best songs, I think, to see live. It's got that great arena rock sound to it. And My Name is a track I don't think gets enough love. Now, coming in at number 4 is the new album, 8. My top 3 songs are Back to Living, Machine Gun, and Imposter, and that's when I initially did my review. It might be changing. I could easily put Wide Open or Young Again in that list as well. The fact that this album landed in my top 4 quickly says a lot about how much I've enjoyed it. The songwriting is strong, the performances are fantastic, and these songs just keep getting better and better every time I listen to them. It may even climb higher over time, but for now it lands at number 4. And number 3 is Attention, Attention. My top 3 songs here are Special, Evolve, and Devil. This is one of the most complete Shinedown albums I think they've ever put out. It feels like a full journey from start to finish, and every time I revisit it, I'm reminded just how strong the songwriting is throughout the entire record. Devil is one of my favorite openers for any of their albums that they've released so far. At number 2 is Leave a Whisper. My top 3 songs here are In Memory, 45, and Fly From the Inside. This album just means a lot to me for reasons beyond just the music. I actually bought this CD at a Shinedown concert when they were opening for 3 Doors Down. It was only my second concert ever. My first concert was Evanescence, and while I was at the Evanescence show, there was a poster for an upcoming 3 Doors Down show, which was my dad's favorite band, so we decided to go. And at this show, there's this opening band that comes out and plays Fly From the Inside. I heard the song on the radio before, but I never knew who played it, and as soon as their set ended, I went straight to the merch booth to buy the CD. When I got there, Brent and Jason Todd were just hanging out. I ended up getting the album signed by both of them, and that became my very first experience meeting a band. Since then, I've met a lot of bands, including Shinedown multiple times. But this album will always be special because it's where a lot of my journey started with concerts and meeting bands. Now, my number 1 album should be no surprise. It is The Sound of Madness. My top 3 songs are Devour, Junkies for Fame, and The Sound of Madness. This album is incredible on its own, but it also has a lot of personal meaning for me. This was the album that came out while I was dating my wife, and at the time, she wasn't really a Shinedown fan. I bought the album, had her listen to it a couple times with me, and eventually took her to a concert on the Sound of Madness tour. By the end of that show, she was hooked just like me. Now, Shinedown is something that we can share together. They're one of our favorite bands, and whenever they come through town, it's a show that we almost never miss. So, when I think about the Sound of Madness, I don't just think about all those incredible songs. I think about all the memories attached to it and how it became a part of our story together. For me, that's what puts the Sound of Madness at number 1. That's my ranking of every Shinedown studio album from worst to best. If you want to hear my full thoughts on the brand new album 8, make sure to check out my full review here on the YouTube channel. Now I want to hear from you. This is my ranking of the albums. I'm sure yours is going to be different, but I want to know, how would you rank these albums? Let me know your ranking in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.